things. I think Christina's point was, yeah, we've changed everything. We've changed everything. We are Unilever. We've been hugely successful. We've changed everything. Okay? We are in a new world, guys. Look at your legacy. Look at where you've been. Question everything. Figure out whether it still holds true. So, welcome to the new world. And you know what? Innovation's tough. Have you got that courage? Think back to Brian's talk about resiliency, about courage. Are you brave enough to take the risk? There's no shame in saying, you know what? Actually, I'd quite like to keep my job. But we had a guy a couple of years ago who said, I got this T-shirt for my team, and it just says, go ahead then, fire me. And he said, if we don't wear that at least once a year when we're presenting one of our innovations, we're not doing it right. And I'll read you just, I love this. It's old. Wanted. For hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honour and recognition in case of success. Anyone tell me what that was, just out of interest?
That was about Franklin Expedition.
Very good. Shackleton, 1906. They were going, to the South Pole, I think. But that's what innovation is like, right? You guys, you've got to be brave. I mean, I take my hats off to you. I get to sit in a consultancy, and we get to sort of help you steer the ship. But it's your necks on the line. And I think Sarah put it very nicely. She's been fired 3 times or laid off 3 times and rehired within 24 hours. So, get out there and go for it. You're a special breed. And I think that's where, back to Uri's point, finding your like-minded fellows will give you that kind of courage, will give you that bravery. I've been really impressed with some of the people who've come on, and actually I was talking to in the break, who have been really innovating in the way they innovate. And Justin and the sort of crowdfunding, I've told you, has struck me. That idea that you're turning it into maybe something that is a profit center through crowdfunding, through what you sell. I think that's really potent. I think that gives you a great amount of freedom. And I was talking to, was it Peter from Merck? Whereas he may have left, in which case I can tell everyone. But he said that Manesh had asked him, also from Merck, but different part of the business. So, he's running 100 innovation projects. He said to me, guess what my innovation budget is? And he asked Manesh, and Manesh said 20 million. He said, oh, Manesh comes from OTC, or from ethical, so that's the sort of budgets they have. 10 million, no. 5 million, no. More, are you 200 million? What is it? 0. I have 0 budget. So how does he do it? Well, he partners with people to create win-wins within the business. So somebody gets that patent and he gets his patent. He creates something that is so exciting that a company like BMW are just going to fund him and his organization within Merck to do this. So really think about the ways that we innovate. I think, again, when it comes back to we're in a new world, figure out what you can change. I love this idea of scrappy innovation. Again, under the radar, submarine, do something sort of really different. Escape the beast. The beast is there. The beast is the corporate machine that is, fundamentally, it's got to be good at doing things super efficiently, right? And I know we're not all in big corporates, but I think a lot of people are. And I think for a lot of you, that's sort of part of coming to something like this, is how to kind of get that shift in mindset. So apologies if I'm more focused on that. But, it's one of these fun, there's a sort of an arrow of efficiency, and an insight or innovation is about change. Fundamentally, an insight should change something. Innovation is about change, even if it's incremental. And you know what? If you have spent a kind of lifetime trying to value engineer this product to within an inch of its life so that it runs down lines, or it's super, cost effective, or it's, efficient with the way it works, someone coming up and going, I've got a great idea that, you should really change this, doesn't help. So how do you practice scrappy innovation? How do you make it so sort of inevitable or so unavoidable for your business that they can just get up there and say, well, you know what, we've got to do this. It's a no-brainer now. So I think that sort of feeling that you're not a rebel because you're still within the business, but that you're that kid who sort of just went and did his things his way. And I think to that end, innovation teams, you probably need to be like the SAS, right? Small, no one's meant to know quite who you are. I think that's quite exciting. But, you know what? You're probably still in a big business, and they can bring things to that piece. So I think scale, Christina talked about scale, and one of the speakers earlier today said, look, there's no point in us doing this if we can't leverage what we've got as an organization. You also need that political cover. Who is the person in the know? Who's your friend in high places? Who's sort of able to bring this along on the journey? And how are you going to win their hearts and minds? And I think, I don't know whether Thomas from BASF, no, he's not here, so I can tell you as well. It's brilliant. When people leave, I reveal their secret. Not true. But he was saying that they've got a way of working. They work with a retailer. And when they've got a great idea, what they do is they convince the retailer, one of the big German retailers, think Tesco of Germany, Walmart of Germany. And then once they've convinced them, they then go to his board. And when they're saying it, it's different from your trend scout within your team, your innovator, who you're like, oh, here he comes again, another crazy idea. Right, tell me what it is this time. It's like, bloody hell, this is the biggest retailer telling us that they think this is important. Yeah, let's do it. So think about how you win hearts and minds. Think about how you convince people. Speak their language. You may be scrappy, but at some point you've got to turn around to that big corporate and speak a language it understands, a language that will convince it to change. Anyway, last, it's screw the customer. No, it's not, but should be. Yasushi, I think this was you, your racing car driver analogy. I think it was. Apologies if I misdirect these, but if you don't feel a bit out of control, you're not pushing far enough. Surely that's right, guys. We've got to feel uncomfortable. There is incremental innovation, and that's great. But in the world that we are living in today, the startups out there, I mean, we had a few of them here. We had Mass Challenge talking. These guys are sort of slowly unbundling big companies. There's a great unbundling of P&G image which shows the number of startups taking on everything from Tide to Gillette, Dollar Shave Club, and the like. You've got to push, because there are other guys out there and they are failing all the time, but it only takes one to succeed. It only takes one. So you've got to push. You've got to disrupt yourself. You've got to be willing to make yourself obsolete. And if there are times where you don't feel like you might be fired, then maybe you're not pushing the corporate hard enough.